Last week we had a small story about a body called the Marine Management Organisation coming to Felixstowe. We hadn't heard of them before, and we found what we heard just a little confusing. In fact, I suppose you could say we were all at sea about maritime planning. So when they were in town, we went and heard about what they do.
The basics about marine planning is there's a lot goes on out there, and each individual activity has its own management arrangements. But it was recognised that because there's a lot going on, competition for space, concern about the effects on other activities, it was thought it was a good idea to look across all of those sectors. So the main thing around marine planning is looking across everything that's happening in a particular area. Also has an element of looking to the future and thinking, can we bring a bit of foresight into some of the decisions we make. And the third element, which is very important, is it's a public process. So you go through public consultation, you involve what we call stakeholders all the way through. Now, the way that relates to local planning is that there is an overlap between marine planning, which goes up to the top of the beach and up the estuaries, and local planning, which goes down to the bottom of the beach. And we pay a lot of attention to that overlap and work quite closely with the local authorities to try and understand what's going on land that might affect what's happening at sea, and equally we'll help them understand what's going on at sea that might affect on land and get a more joined up approach.
With an immense business like the Port of Felixstowe developing ever more on our doorstep with its new plan for a finger key extension, how do you work with them?
At the moment, most activities, especially a major development like a port extension, will need a terrestrial planning permission, but they'll also need a marine licence. And in the past, they had to go to quite a lot of organisations for that marine licence. Now with the MMO, you have one process for the marine side of it. And so those two organisations, the local planning authority and the MMO, work together on the actual individual project. But where planning comes into play is it's looking at the bigger picture, looking to the future and trying to identify where might be issues arising down the line. And is there something in the local terrestrial plan that says, well, we're expecting port development in the future? We can try and take account of that and what happens on the marine side. And equally, if we know on the marine side that there's a growth in certain shipping sector interests, if there's something happening with other activities that might have a bearing on ports, we make sure that the local authority are aware of that.
We've got a small inshore fishing interest at Felixstowe Ferry. What's your relationship with the fishing industry?
Yeah, we have good links through to lots of bodies, because the point about marine planning is it's trying to interface with all the activities happening out at sea. And there's concern, for example, in the fishing industry about lots of different industries that are growing, having a cumulative impact on them. So we work with fishing interests, both at individual fishermen level and also up to the National Fishing Federation of Fishermen's Organisations. We work with some of the other agencies that are involved with fisheries, like the Inshore Fisheries and Conservation Agency, and we work with the government departments as well. So we're actually talking at all those different levels. That's one of the benefits of having an organisation that works from a national to a local level.
So, to sum up, it looks as if the Marine Management Organisation is a body we should keep track of into the future, because their decisions and plans could have a considerable influence on our town's industry, businesses and recreational aspects. It's just a pity that they only announced they were coming a very few days before they arrived. The more local residents that attend events like this, the more the people of Felixstowe have an effect on decisions that affect our town. So we'll keep track of the MMO and bring you more about what they're doing locally in the future.